Hey y'all, welcome to another entry of B's Nail Diary. I'm your girl B, and in today's entry, as you can see by the title, we are doing a nail removal in chat. And I did use the Ula Peel Off Base Coat again, and I did realize that I did run into some user error, and when I was watching back the footage is when I kind of really, took things into stock, and I had to go back to the drawing board and do a little bit more research as well. So I kind of I think I figured out where I went wrong. So I just wanted to talk about that with you guys. So if there's anybody else that has run into these issues, or anyone else that had the same thought process as me, when it came to using the peel off base coats, especially the ones that don't come with a remover, it's very much trial and error. So in these clips, those first clips, I was just showing you what the set was looking like just before we were ready to take them off, and these clips are just showing you guys what the set looked like when they were freshly done. If anyone's interested in seeing me recreate this set, please let me know. I would love to, and I might go ahead and do it anyways. But when I went to post this, or we re-watched the footage, everything was out of frame. So I just decided to, instead of scrapping everything, I'll use some of that footage and use it to talk about the removal, the user error issues, where I think I went wrong, some of the tips and tricks I came across along the way after rewatching this and getting prepared for the next set. So without further ado, we'll just get right into the removal. Alrighty, so getting started with this removal, I went into it with the mentality that I did with doing the last one, which you guys watched, and that one was actually pretty straightforward. Mind you, first difference here is that the first removal that I did using the 99% isopropyl alcohol, I only had that set on for about like 8 days. And this set I had on for about 2 weeks. So when I did this set, also, I was actually like a lot more careful. I used the nail tip glue. And I'll be showing you guys a couple of clips of how I actually applied these nails. But when I was trying to get started, we were trying to look for some gaps. I sprayed the isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I'm using my cuticle oil. I'm trying to get those down into the gaps, just like I did the first time. Now why I was saying that I did these like really well, because I was being very careful not to get a whole lot of spillage. And I think under the cuticle area, which you guys will see a little later on, there was a lot of like, I'd say flooding. I'd call it flooding. Just like my free edge of my natural nail basically got like encapsulated in the nail tip glue, which I believe is like one thing that very much contributed to how difficult it was to get these nails off. So as you're seeing, I'm just continuously spraying rubbing alcohol and cuticle oil to get into this into the crevice, to try to get break the bond underneath on the nail, sorry. So I also have been like noticed with the pre-sculpted nail tips, because they're pre-sculpted, they don't have a lot of flexibility. They don't have any flexibility at all. They're really not supposed to. Mind you, these ones, because they're medium length, have a little bit more flexibility than the long coffin ones that I used previously. And I'm guessing because of the actual length and the shape of them. So I was trying to angle the cuticle pusher towards the apex, or towards the curvature of the actual nail, so it wasn't feeling so painful. Or I wouldn't say painful. At this point, this was just, it was a little discomfort. I was like, ooh. This is when I realized that, ooh, these girls are on here, and then this is where I realized how encapsulated that my free edges of my natural nails were. And yeah, so I just keep trying to break that seal little by little, and yeah, I'll just let you guys watch. Like, y'all, when I say these nails were on here, these nails were on here. Like, they were not really trying to come off. Now, yeah, this thumb took some coaxing and, running the cuticle pusher along the curvature of the nail, and she came off. Seemingly, it looks fine. Like, I didn't, there wasn't a lot of damage or anything. But when we look at the actual nail, we can see some stuff. So I wasn't entirely certain which layer of what this was. I think this is either the peel off base coat, or it has to be the peel off base coat, because I didn't have a layer of top coat on my nails when I applied these, which you guys will see shortly. So that was a little piece of gel that came off. And then I was still just working at this little pocket here. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the one coat of the peel off base coat. And then underneath that would be my gel. And yeah, so sadly, it doesn't look the worst, but it's not great, because after I get the rubbing alcohol on there and I wipe it off and let it kind of dry out to kind of see what's what, you can definitely see you'll see the damage. So moving forward, I moved on straight away to my right thumb, just because it did have a little bit of lifting. Very, very, very minimal. Like I said, I actually put these nails on pretty well. Like if I wanted to wear them for like a 3 weeks, maybe even a 4 weeks, I would be able to get away with it, because I didn't have any lifting. So, sorry. I was struggling. I was 1000% on the struggle bus. I was every single passenger on the struggle bus. So again, we're just going in with the same order of operations: rubbing alcohol, cuticle oil. I abandoned that thumb. I went over. Oh, no, I didn't abandon the thumb yet. I abandoned the thumb shortly after, because I realized that it was not budging, and it would just be best for me to just come back to it after. And then I ended up just skipping over to my index finger, which I'll let you guys watch. So as I am working on this index finger, I'm just showing you guys here when I realized just how much product is sitting around my natural nail free edge. So like I had said before, it was basically like encapsulating my free edge, and that's been something that I've noticed in like many different videos of people applying nail tips using specifically like a more runny consistency nail tip glue or base gel as a nail tip glue. So we're trying to learn how to work around that. And yeah, so that index finger, it wasn't super challenging to get off. Again, seemingly it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of damage. This one actually looks better than the thumb. But definitely around that free edge, it was a little bit tough to get off. I didn't have that nail, that index finger nail. I didn't have any issues with it prior, so I didn't have any chipping or anything. I don't think I had a lot of spaces that were missing when I went to fill my my gel either. But as you can see here at the tip of it, is again another one of those pockets. So yeah, I believe this was the peel off base, and then that also would have taken off my, look at my actual nail in there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that was everything. Everything that was on my nail just ripped right off of my head. Is ripped right off my nail. So that is the theme for all of the rest of the nails. I'll just let this play through. We'll kind of speed through it. Just so you guys can get a feel for, you know, how I'm going about this. And if anyone has any tips or tricks or any advice on, you know, a better way to approach doing this removal, or, you know, holding the tools or using different material tools or anything, please feel free to comment and let me know. Please do keep in mind though that after, like, as I was rewatching this footage and like editing it and getting this all together, I have since, you know, come across some different methods and things that I have put into practice for the following entries. But please, any comments, positive comments are always welcome. Helpful, constructive criticism, always welcome. And yeah, so we'll just let this continue to play through. And then I'll quickly show you guys what nail tips I used, what my nail prep looked like prior to putting them on, and how I actually applied them. I'll only show you guys the thumb since we started with removing the thumb. For this set, as you saw, we're using, once again, the Model 1's Pro Luxe nail tips. This time we're using them in a medium square. We are going in again with the Ula Peel Off Base Gel, and we are using the Model 1's Nail Tips glue this time. I think this is like a 5-in-1 nail tips glue. So I have my builder gel overlay. I just cleaned it off with rubbing alcohol on both fingers. As you can see, the surface is matte. There is no top coat on this. I don't remember what happened in between doing, like, taking off the last set and doing these and doing the fill. I don't remember if I just decided, like, if when I went to wipe everything, you know what? I think here's another point of user error. When I was doing my overlay, so I had been doing, like just sculpting my gel nails for quite a while, for like over a year, and just really trying to get the practice and get the hang of sculpting. And I have builder gels in a bottle, and I had been going in between using them for overlays when I first started out on my natural nails. And it had been a while since I really used them. So when I did this overlay, I was going between I was thinking about using either the pot or like my potted hard gel, or using the builder gel in the bottle. So I decided to use the builder gel in a bottle. And because the ones that I have, so I have one from Savaland, I have one from Model 1's, and both of them, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them or both of them says you can also use it as a base coat. So somewhere in my noggin, I missed the step of, so I put the first layer of the builder gel on my nail, and that acted as the slip layer, and I failed to cure that layer. So I put the second layer on now, try to build up a little bit of strength. We go to cure it, and when I went to cure, and I wiped off like the adhesion layer, I noticed that I was wiping off parts of the actual gel on my nail. So not all of it wiped off, and a lot of it adhered to my nail. I was so far into it that I said, you know what, we were gonna have to see how this works out. And yeah, clearly we saw how that worked out. So that was my mistake number 2, or my error number 2, was the actual nail prep before I went in to actually adhere the nail tips. So if you guys hopefully saw it in those previous clips, I just reapplied the peel off base like I would normal base coat. I went in with the nail tip glue. I didn't use a lot. I had it on a nice angle. I didn't have a whole lot of spillage. We flash cured, and then we cured in the big lamp. So I back to this removal now. Sorry, I'm really trying with this thumb. So I went back to this thumb, and I was honestly I was struggling so hard, guys. And I was starting to get a little bit frustrated, but I'm like, you know what? We're only 2 nails in. We're only 2 nails in. I can do this. We got this. We can do this. Y'all, let me tell you. So it literally only went more downhill from here. I don't know how much more downhill I could have went, but it was bad. So I already talked about the fact that, so I don't think I said that the time frame that had this set on necessarily was an error. That was definitely something different. So that, like I said, that first error was definitely in how my nails were prepped before I put the tips on. So how my nails were prepped, like even when I did my builder gel overlay, as I just previously mentioned. So as you guys are seeing, I'm just like really, I just keep repeating it. I'm very much on a struggle bus with this thumb. Like these nails were like very much adhered to my nails. So I'll move into error number 2. So I had mentioned that I was using just the 99% isopropyl alcohol and the cuticle oil. Many of you would ask why? Why not use something else or another acetone or anything else? Let me explain that to you. So I had said that this is a lot of the information that I had come across after. I had done the research. I had done extensive research before, but I was still very skeptical because I had not tried it on my own. So I was genuinely under the impression and thought that, okay, if we are using acetone to melt the cuticles and to kind of melt the tip in so it looks more flush to the actual finger, then my thought process was, if I'm going to use if I want to save this set, right? And if I use acetone to remove the set to get into the gaps, wouldn't that just eat away at the polish on the top, at the top coat? Like, wouldn't that actually ruin the nail? That was what I thought. Although I had been seeing a few different videos. Actually, up to that point, I had seen a couple different videos of people. I had several different videos of people using the different peel off base removal liquids that either are sold separately or that come with the specific peel off base gel. So I was like, well, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I wanted to figure out if I had to buy one of the other brands. So I was considering buying the Jello, or if I could use this local brand that I found at my beauty supply. So here we are, right? I decided then, okay, so I thought, sorry, I got a little distracted. I just had to look at my notes. So that was my thought process. I genuinely thought that if I used acetone to remove the tips, that the acetone, oh, there goes another nail, the index on the other finger. This one peeled off stuff too. Spoiler alert, every single fingernail got shredded. Absolutely shredded. So that continues to speak to my error number 1, with just the actual nail prep. So not necessarily how I prepped the nails before I applied them, like the surface of the nails just before I applied the tips, but how my nails were prepped underneath the base gel, or with the with the builder gel, sorry. And then yeah, I'm just showing you guys. You guys can see the damage on the nail. So anyways, like I was saying, my genuine thought process was that the acetone was going to actually damage the tips, because I wanted to keep them, so I didn't want to actually like damage them. And after this whole process, I went right back to the drawing board and I did a little bit more research and came across there are only a couple of other creators, like a handful of other creators, specifically one, which would be Ariana Nicole, shout outs, for her removal liquid mixture. So I tried that out. She had a specific type of oil from The Ordinary. I think it was like marula oil, as well as acetone in the dropper bottle. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let us try it. And after, after the trial and error and everything, and you guys will see in the next entry, or the next 2 entries or something, in the next couple entries, you guys will see me actually use that removal liquid, so oil. So I ended up using olive oil and acetone, which I'll get more into in the coming entries. And it actually did do the job. So like I said, we'll get there, but that was definitely my error number my error number 2 was the proper removal materials. So the cuticle oil is cool, was fine, but I definitely needed something that was stronger than just the 99% isopropyl alcohol. And yeah. I'm just gonna slide back in real quick here and give you guys another little spoiler alert. For whatever reason, my middle fingers that had these butterfly charms on them, I don't know why, but these 2 nails were on my fingers like cement. I will likely end up just like skipping ahead to it, because it's actually like these parts, like me struggling with these nails, specifically the middle fingers, they're very, very, very repetitive. And yeah, so I might just skip ahead a little bit, but just to let you guys know, yeah, it was a big struggle, and I did end up having to take my e-file out. And yeah, by the time I had to get the e-file out, my finger was in pain, and you guys will see that in a little bit. I think I struggle with this finger for a little bit longer, and then I kind of move on to the plain nail and then come back to this. I actually just realized I might have done my errors out of order, or maybe not have like numbered error number 2. So I'll just give a little summary right now, and then I'll give like a full summary of what my kind of closing thoughts are with those errors, and what my plan to move forward was and is. So my first error that I think I ran into with this set, and why this removal was so tedious, painful, was one, I believe maybe the first condition / factor that played a role was the length of time that I had this set on, which was about 2, maybe 3 weeks, as well as the adhesion material. So I believe I only used 1 coat of the Ula Peel Off base on each nail, as opposed to the 2 coats that I have seen other creators use with peel off base, and what I ended up using after down the line. Okay, so that's factor number 1. Now, error number one was the nail prep for my actual builder gel overlay. So my natural nail, I did a builder gel overlay. I used builder in a bottle. As I had said previously, and I kind of explained where I was at with that and my lapse of judgment with not using the builder in a bottle correctly. I did not cure my, I used one layer of the builder in a bottle as my base coat, but I failed to cure that layer. I used it just as the slip layer. And when I went to take off, or when I went to, remove the adhesion layer, I had to do the next layer, I would realize that I took off a lot of what was supposed to be on my actual nail. So there's a bit of a mess going on the foundation of it to begin with. So then I think error number two, or as I said, error number two was, as you had seen in previous clips, and as I get these nails off, oh, there is the ring finger. Lots of pieces of my nail missing. As you would have seen in like previous scenes, and as I get these nails off, the surface of my nail was matte before I actually applied the nail tips. I don't remember why I mattified it, or if I just buffed off. I think I just buffed it after I did the builder gel, because I was so discombobulated, and after realizing that I kind of just messed up, but we just went with it anyways. So error number two is having that matte surface on my nails before application. The overlay was buffed. There was no top coat on it. So that created all of the adhesion. So if I wanted to keep these nails on, genuinely, I think I said earlier in the video, if I wanted to keep these nails on like for a full 4 weeks, 5 weeks, like they would let me, because of how this prep was. I definitely messed up by not prepping them in a way that would support like a temporary wear. I definitely prepped these as if I wanted to wear these like long term for like a month or longer. So with that, I'd say error number three, which is the one, again, they're all kind of big errors, user errors, but the removal materials. So as I had said previously, I had been using 99% isopropyl rubbing alcohol and cuticle oil. It worked in the previous removal that I did on the channel before. I'm just going to take a pause here. In this scene that you guys are watching right now, this is where the struggle, like this is where I start to realize, like I start to feel the pain, because this nail tip is stuck onto my free edge and it is starting to take pieces of my free edge with it. Pieces of the free edge are starting to rip off of my skin, off of the hyponychium. And yeah, it started getting, it was already getting critical, but it started getting like really shaky, like extra shaky here. And I apologize for my finger not being all the way completely in frame here. And this is just me really trying to break that bond, underneath the free edge, trying to see what I can scrape out, what I can dig out. Again, the rubbing alcohol just was not strong enough to break that bond. I definitely realize now that the acetone, like small amounts of the acetone, wouldn't melt the whole entire nail unless I was soaking it, probably, and maybe not. I don't know. That could be a test. Anyways, I'll let you guys see that, and I'll continue in with what I was saying with error number three. So yeah, definitely using this all ties in what I'm saying, what we're watching, and my error number three. The rubbing alcohol is just not strong enough. I definitely, as I said, I came across a video by Ariana Nicole and her peel off base concoction. So we definitely switched that up. And yeah, so, just to summarize the thought process with using the rubbing alcohol is because one, it worked before, and I thought that the acetone would melt the nail tips and ruin the design. And I can, ooh, y'all, look at that, shredded. You can see my whole nail free edge, like everything, all of it, the whole piece of nail's gone. Okay, so I didn't need the ephel for this one. It was for working with my left hand. It was, or sorry, when I was doing my the right one. Yeah, This was despicable. This one was painful as well. As you can see, like there's that whole piece of my like free edge that's missing. I think this middle fingernail was a little bit damaged to begin with anyways. I think I had a crack in the edge of that nail. It was either that middle finger or it was the other middle finger. But yeah, so the conditions of the nails at starting, whether that's natural nail or you have an overlay, that condition plays a very, very, very big factor in how the rest of the process is going to go. And some may say that like it's common sense, but it just doesn't always seem like it's common sense. But I read more comments and just watched a couple more videos and got into the comments. And I came across a woman that had been a nail tech for like I think over 20 years or something, and she had mentioned some of her experiences and experiments with peel off base and different mediums. So she had mentioned something about the chemical reaction between nail primer and the peel off base as well. So that might also be something to kind of keep an eye on. I don't remember. I might have used primer when I did you know what? When I did my overlay, I obviously would have used primer because I would have dehydrated the whole nail, whatever parts grew out. So I guess it was basically more like an infill. Whatever parts grew out, I would have dehydrated. I would have put primer. I usually put primer on the whole entire nail. Now, if I did primer on the whole nail and then I didn't do a proper base coat cure and I basically wiped off only parts of it would have cured, that means that the other parts of my nail that got wiped off were exposed and still would have had some primer on it. So I can understand and I can see how that would have contributed as well with that chemical reaction. But yeah, y'all, it was really painful. It was really sad. Just like, shredded. You can see at the like closer to the free edges, that's where like the biggest concentration of product left over is on like the free edges of my nail. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at. So yeah, definitely the primer definitely I could definitely see that chemical reaction. I don't understand it, but I can see a chemical reaction happening from there as well. That could very well contribute. So that might be something for some of you guys that might be running into these issues with peel off base coat. The peel off base gel, the curable, that might be something to keep an eye on as well, is either avoiding using the primer or maybe it's using it in small concentrations and making sure that it's covered up properly, adequately. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just, I'll be moving on to my right hand. And yeah, I might just skip ahead and just show you guys the footage of when I had to get the e-file out. Just because again, it all gets very repetitive. The nails look the same shredded way on both sides. I ran into the same issues on both sides where it'll look pretty decent when you're looking at the nail, like not too much was lost because of the cuticle oil. And then when you look at the actual nail, its natural nail itself, you see how shredded she really is. So I just continue after I take each nail off, I just go in with the cuticle pusher and I'm just scraping. I'm not pushing hard. I'm not scraping aggressively. I'm going pretty fast and lightly just to kind of try to get it all off in like one motion. And I'm basically scraping off whatever residual gel, base gel, builder gel, peel off base gel, whatever wants to still be on there, nail tip glue gel. I'm just scraping all that residual stuff off and then wiping it off with a lint-free wipe and some rubbing alcohol. And yeah, these nails have been through it. They're thinner than thin, and like the free edges are in shambles. And yeah, so I'm just here trying to clean them off, and I'll let you guys continue watching. So as you're seeing, I was going with my ceramic cone bit underneath the nail. That's my one of the under nail bits. I was trying to break this seal from the gels around my free edge. Like my nail was encapsulated. So I came back in here with another under the nail bit. This one's a diamond coated bit. So not as harsh on my skin or anything. And yeah, I was really just trying to struggle to break that seal. There was a piece. So I believe this was the middle finger that had the crack on it, because this little flake of nail here actually, when I was trying to get that gel off from the sides, like trying to break the seal from the sides, that piece started to flake up. A part of it is attached to my skin and a part of it obviously is not. So I was having the hardest time trying to get rid of that as well. That's kind of what I'm doing for the next, like, it seemed like it was like it was a good while. I wasn't able to get it with the actual e-file, so I ended up resorting to I think I ended up having to use the cuticle pusher by the end of it to try to get it off. Like that's how I knew that it was, yeah, cuticle pusher to try to dig it off. That's how I knew it was a piece of the nail. And it definitely was very far under there. It was definitely like baby nail. I don't even know, because it was like, it was stuck. It was on there. It was adhered. It was stuck to the skin, stuck to it was painful. So this is actually the one that was starting to burn. So once I started getting that off, and I came back in with the e-file, and we're still just trying to break the seal, because I think that finger also has a higher eponychium. So underneath the nail, that skin, where that skin adheres to the actual underneath of the free edge, is a lot higher on, it's honestly, it's on both of my middle fingers and my index fingers, but the middle fingers, like, especially. So this middle finger, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to file down my natural nail as much as I could. I was trying to be as delicate as I could to not like cut my hyponychium, or I might be saying the wrong one. Eponychium, hyponychium. I'm thinking this is the eponychium because it's underneath, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I was trying my best, and as you can see, like, you can still, like, the nail, it's off, but it's stuck on my finger by the free edge. And yeah, so I'll let this play regular speed and let you all kind of see me wrestle with this nail and the e-file to get it off of my actual finger. Since those two bits did not work, I then resorted to my mini sanding band, and we're still just trying to file down my natural nail, file down the inside of the nail tip as much as possible to as thin of a point as possible. Definitely was feeling a lot of burning because I'm filing on my eponychium at this point, and I had cut the tip of the nail, and I'm basically just thinning the nail out as much as I can to be able to get some sort of break. At this point, or just before we really got to this point, I came to an acceptance that I'm likely going to have to rip the rest of this nail off of my free edge because it's on there. That's why I went in. I wanted to go in with at least the e-file, the sanding bands, to try to file down as much as I can to try to minimize the damage, even though I knew it was going to be really painful. I knew it was going to be damaging. I just didn't want to bleed. Honestly, I was not trying to bleed. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at here for the next little bit until we actually get that nail off. Now that I have gotten yet another bit out, so this is now my cuticle bit. I'm trying to get underneath that skin. I'm really just trying to I'm trying not to make myself bleed, but I'm also trying to, I guess at this point, I was trying to break my own skin, but without cutting myself. So just trying to file down as much as I could without like cutting myself and without ripping my skin. Honestly, y'all, this was like really brutal. As you're seeing, like, I've been working on this one nail for quite a while. There's like a lot of it that I had to cut out because it's so repetitive. And yeah, it took a very long time. I was in a lot of pain by this point, but I was like, I got to get this off my hands. We are way too far in to stop. And it's just, again, just trying to get rid of all the hyponychium underneath. Every piece, get filed down, like thin out my natural nail as possible, as thin as possible, like everything possible to get this thing off of my finger. And to get my mind off of all of this pain, I'm going to go over my summary of user errors for this set and this removal. So the first factor was the fact that I only used 1 coat of peel off base coat, whereas I have seen other creators using 2 coats and having a way better experience. So I'm definitely I have been doing that since this removal. Error number 1 was the my nail prep on my natural nail overlay. You can totally go back into the video to hear what I had to say about that. Error number 2 was that I had a matte surface on my nails before actually putting the tips on, as well as the nail tips having a matte surface in the inside of the well. Error number 3, as I mentioned, is the removal materials. I was using isopropyl alcohol and cuticle oil because I genuinely believed that the acetone would melt the nails and I wouldn't be able to keep my design. If you want to hear more about that, please rewind. So yeah, all of these things I've taken and we're gonna apply. This hurts. It hurts just as much as it looks. It's actually hurting more and more. I just washed my hands too. This is bad. I have not ripped off a nail like this. To the future sets, I mean, we already have been applying these tips and tricks. So if anyone else has had these issues, please do not feel ashamed. It's all a learning experience in this DIY space. I'm just showing you guys now how I TLC'd my nails. You would never be able to tell how shredded they were. Thank you so much everyone for sticking with me to the end of this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next entry. Peace.